Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. So, today's video, this tip could save your life and extend your prepping career. This is a simple tip that I'm giving out about prepping and how it's going to save your career in the sense that it's going to keep you on the path of prepping and not put you on the path of burnout. Now, a lot of people seem to think that, prepping is this easy 1, 2, 3 task. You get into it and and you're done. And as long as you hook up with a community, everything's great. No, there's a lot more to prepping. It takes years to get to a point you want to get to. Now, the one tip that I have for everybody is common sense. Use common sense, please, when you are preparing for anything. Do not sit there and start preparing for something that is not likely to happen. And then you put everything into that cause of what you think might happen. You start thinking the zombie apocalypse, for example. You start thinking that that's going to happen. That is your sole purpose for getting ready. And then it doesn't happen. And then you start sounding crazy because it's not going to happen. Now, again, there are a couple of bacteria out there that do mimic something like it. That is so, on the scale of things happening and taking out the human race or making our lives harder, on the scale of that it's like at the bottom. And when I'm talking about the bottom of a million other things that can happen. So, yes, if you use that as a reason, as a catalyst to prepare, but then you start phasing it out when you realize that there are other things you need to be ready for. Civil unrest, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, real things that are going to happen. A CME, possible EMP attack. And an EMP attack, as the year goes on and technology gets better, at least for us in the United States, an EMP attack becomes less and less likely as well. So you have to rate everything, if you will, in the likeliness of it happening and work off of that. Now, as a prepper, you're prepared for mostly everything. Besides something smashing into this planet like a meteor or something, you're preparing for as much as you possibly can. That's why I tell people use common sense. Don't sit there and start feeding into one thing that you're preparing for because it can drive you crazy. You can look like the kook on the corner of your block or in the cul-de-sac of your block or just in the building you live in because you're preparing for something that's not likely to happen, and then you're running around parroting it to everyone. You know that the zombie apocalypse could happen any day now, and you could become bitey and start eating people. Don't do that shit. Stop. Just fucking prepare in general for things that can happen. We have so many other things headed this way right now. It's unreal. And those things are going to happen. Not that they might happen, they should, are going to happen. And a lot of those things are in a matter of time. For example, Yellowstone. That eventually is going to happen again. Whether it happens next year or another 1,000 years from now, that's where you rate that, right? You rate it in that sense, and you put that one at the back of the list. But that could happen. We got what's happening in Iceland. The volcanic eruption, they think a volcanic eruption is going to occur in Grindavik, Iceland. That's moves that scale up for them from possibly the bottom to like the top right now. So again, you got to gauge everything and where you are in the world. Not so much the United States, just in the world. And use that as your base to prepare. The other common sense, guys, is do not rely on other preppers for information. You have to do your own research, including this channel. Don't look at this channel. Don't look at other channels that's like, man, these guys are giving me great information. Do your own research. I put the information out there to put it on your radar, and then you guys have to go and do the research yourself. I do put up articles so that you see the picture of the articles, so it gives you a better lead or where to go to look up those articles. And nonetheless, guys, you got to do the research. You got to see the pros and cons of whatever might happen, because there are articles out there that are suggesting, for example, the quarantine camps that Hochul was fighting for. Here in New York City, a judge sided with her, stating that she could do that if the next pandemic comes. Then you have another article stating, well, she didn't mention camps. She just said that she would force people, or have people rather, quarantine in their homes, hotels, and other lodging areas. because that article was splitting hairs about her mentioning the word camp. Because she didn't mention camp, that is not going to happen, but she did mention interim housing, which is a camp. So again, you have to do your research so that you can look at these different things that are being said and what's likely to happen, what's not likely to happen. So again, don't rely on the prepper community, especially on YouTube, solely on its own. You have to do your own research. Like I said, there's a bunch of us. We throw the information out there. We let you know what our opinion is on what is happening, and that's it. You got to do the research from there so that you can also go, all right, he was right or he was wrong, or there's a bit of a wiggle room for him being wrong or right. So just do that for yourself, and things will be a lot easier within your own world because you're not acting like a kook, taking our word for it, then running straight outside screaming that the world's going to crack in two. Common sense, guys, is going to get you out of trouble. Common sense is going to keep you out of trouble, should you get into trouble. Common sense, guys, is something that you should already have, and if you don't have it, you need to start developing it, because you don't want to, again, sound like the crazy guy. You have to do your own research and come up to your own conclusion, which is going to give you, hopefully, the common sense to make the right decision moving forward from there. I know in today's society, today's world, common sense is few far in between. People don't have it. We see people making irrational decisions on everything, not just prepping, but everything in life. You have to be careful where you get that information from, and you have to be careful on how you process that information. That's more importantly. You have to process it responsibly. Don't read an article and go, oh my God, and start running to the prepper community thread on some website and start telling them some shit's going to happen, when in fact, it's not going to happen. It's going to be thousands of years from now. But because you read the headline of the article, you ran off panicking when you had to read the rest of the article. So you got to be careful of that, guys. That goes back to doing your own research, reading the rest of that information, and seeing where it goes. Common sense, guys, will keep you safe. Common sense will get you out of trouble, keep you out of trouble, keep your family safe. Have common sense. That's what it comes down to. When you're looking at certain prepper supply, do your research in the prepper supply. Just don't go off of one video you saw on YouTube. Look at other supplies in that realm, like power stations or solar generators. Look at those, and look at other solar generators out there, power stations out there. Look at Freeze-Dried goods. Look at which one's the best for you and your family. Look at what kind of bug out bag is good for you and your family. What kind of ammo or firearms are good for you and your family. Do the research. This is gonna help you save a lot of money, and it's gonna help you make better decisions. This is where common sense comes in. Common sense says do research. Do not rely on one person you saw on YouTube. Unless you're looking to test it out because you have another model already, then fine. But if not, you should fucking do your own research, use your own brain, let common sense prevail every time you're about to make a decision and every time you enter a new area of prepping. All right, guys, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.